tell you guys what, this board centipede, worth every single cent. But that's not why you're here. So I've been working on my living room project, and if you guys been following along on Instagram as well as the other build projects, part of it is installing the laminate onto the finished panel as well as some of the drawer fronts, and that's all part of that living room panel finish that we're going for. So I figured it would be a good little video to kind of just show you guys exactly how I'm applying the laminate. A few of you guys already asked those questions on Instagram. All right, a little bit better. That sun was just beaming in my face. I'm gonna go through the entire process showing you guys exactly how I applied the laminate finish onto this shelf here, which is the same process that I used to apply it onto the finished panels. So this is a massive 9-foot shelf that we're installing. So it's gonna be a little bit tricky applying the contact cement, but I'll show you exactly how we're doing it. Okay, so the first thing that we have to look at is the blade we're going to use to cut down our sheets. So this is the sheet that I've used for the entire living room project. This is Formica Color Core 2 products, which is cool because the entire color goes through the pretty much all the way to the back of the sheet. You're not left with a brown edge that's typical with these laminates. Typically these laminates come in about 4x8 to 4x10 size. For me, I just treat it as plywood. I used a track saw with a very high tooth count blade. That's going to prevent the actual laminate from cracking on the edges. Ideally, you want to leave about an extra inch of material so that you can flush trim with your flush trim bit at the end. I've already cut the main sheets down to the size that I need. Now at the table saw, since these sheets are a little bit more manageable, I'm going to cut down the edge banding for my shelf, which is 2 inches. That will give me about 1/2 inch where I can use the flush trim bit later on to clean things up. All right, so I got my pieces cut out here. This is going to go on the short ends, the short piece here. Then I have a longer piece that's going to be applied to the front edge. For this project, I'm using Wilsonart 600. Normally I like to use Wilsonart 500, but my local place did not have it. There's a glue shortage going on right now. So I'm using the 600. The only difference is the 500 does dry a little bit quicker. But since this is a very long surface, 600 is going to work fine because it's going to give me a little bit extra time to work the contact cement around the entire surface. What I'll do is I'll apply the contact cement to the wood surface first, and then also the back side of the actual laminate piece. What you want to do is, and it sounds kind of weird, you want to make sure that the glue dries first before you apply both surfaces together. That's how contact cement works. Again, I want to reiterate, let it dry, then apply. And I'll show you exactly how we're going to do that together, because once it touches the surface, once these two surfaces meet, it's really sticky. So it's really hard to actually reapply it. We're going to use some sticks, and I'll show you the details a little bit later on. To apply it, I'm using just a foam brush and a foam roller. This brush is going to be for the edges, and then the roller is going to be for the top and bottom surfaces. So that's pretty much it. We're just going to apply it. Again, let it dry, then apply both pieces together. I'm applying 1 layer of contact cement for this plastic laminate, but depending on what material you're using, it may require additional coats. If that's the case, you want to make sure that each layer dries before you add additional layers on top. I'm applying it in fairly thin layers. That way it'll dry quickly. If you apply too much, then it does take a little bit longer to dry. The important part is making sure the entire surface is covered with contact cement. You want to make sure all the edges are covered. That way it's going to stick properly. Here's a little example of when you know that the contact cement is not ready. You can see some areas dry, but some areas is still a little tacky. Once I know for sure that both surfaces are dried, I'll go ahead and apply my plastic laminate onto the edge, and I'll use a J roller to help remove any bubbles and to make sure that both surfaces are in contact with each other, especially on the edges. Okay, so I have the laminate adhered to the edges of my shelf here. Now I'm going to just let it sit for about 15-20 minutes or so. That way it'll give it some time to set up a little bit. So let's talk about how do we flush trim the laminates. Typically I just use a flush trim bit here. I prefer this type of bit. This one is from CMT. You see there's a little gap between the bearing and the cutters. What that gap does is it allows the glue to gum up in that gap instead of on the bit itself. That's why I prefer these type of bits. This is not the only company that makes this type of bit. There's a lot of other companies that do. So if you're doing a lot of laminates, I recommend getting yourself this type of bit, very specialized bit. I like the triangle bearing that this one has because it gives me a little bit more surface area to guide my piece on compared to this typical round type bearing here. So I highly recommend this. If you want to pick up any of these bits or any of the tools I've been using in this video, definitely check the link down in the description below. So this shank is 1/2 inch, which isn't going to fit on my trim router here. I typically like to use this on my router table, but since this piece is so big, it's not gonna be safe cutting it on my router table, so I'm just gonna use my flush trim bit on my trim router here. One tip for you guys is try not to use so much of your cutter head. I typically like to use maybe about at most 1/4 inch. That way, if my hands are a little shaky or had too much coffee, if I don't have a good grasp on my router, then it could tip over one way or the other, and it could ruin the laminate. Having very little exposure on the tip of your bit, it's going to allow you to control it and prevent any damages that could happen. So I'm going to trim up the edges first on both sides, and then I'm going to apply the edge banding on the front side, and then lastly, I'll do the top and bottom surfaces, kind of just repeating the entire process. The important things when you're working with contact cement and plastic laminate is ventilation. So make sure you're in a well ventilated space. Contact cement is flammable, both the liquid as well as the vapor form, so you want to make sure that there's no open fires or anything like that while you're working. Not sure why there will be an open fire, but sometimes if you are working indoors, like in your garage with a hot water tank, you want to make sure that your hot water tank's burner is turned off so that you don't cause any flash fires and, worst case, an explosion. When you're trimming plastic laminate, it does leave a lot of fine dust in the air, so you want to make sure you're protecting your lungs by wearing a respirator. You don't want to breathe any of that stuff in. Here comes the tricky part, especially for really large, long areas. I have the contact cement dried on both the plastic laminate side as well as the plywood side. What I'm going to do is add a few sticks of wood to provide a gap between the two surfaces, and then I'll place the plastic laminate sheet on top of the sticks. This will allow me to move the plastic sheet around so I can make sure that the plywood is going to be covered. I'll start applying the plastic laminate onto the plywood on one side first. I'm removing the sticks along the way as I'm working and using that J-roller to roll on the plastic laminate. It really helps to use a J-roller to prevent any bubbles that might be trapped underneath. The last thing that I like to personally do is to sand down the edges just a little bit with 180 grit sandpaper. It's going to break up that edge, give me a little chamfer. In the end, I think it looks a little bit cleaner. And there we have it, guys. The laminate is finished. We got the finished panel as well as the doors for the hidden storage on our living room wall here. I really love the gloss. It gives it a very high-end modern look, but not too crazy. And the one thing I love about this Color Core 2 product is if you look at the edge here, it looks as though it just flows across this edge. I'm not getting that brown or black edge that's typical with most laminates. And also the doors here, it just looks like it's a solid piece It keeps the entire look very clean and simple. That's what we're going for here. If you want to check out the entire build for this hidden storage wall, definitely click the link above here or down in the description below. Hope you guys learned a little bit about plastic laminates and how to apply it. You can apply the same technique when you're working with wood veneers. This is a sheet of plywood that has been veneered with walnut, so the very top and bottom layers has a thin sheet of walnut that's been glued onto the plywood surface using contact cement. So you can use the same method for either products. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't seen the living room project build, you want to check out these videos over here that's up on the screen. Until next time, this has been Bao Design Craft Workshop. See ya.